My name is Ridhima Pandey. I am 16 and I'm a climate activist based in India. I've been advocating about climate change, about child rights, and about biodiversity conservation pretty much my entire life. And I am also part of the circle of youth members of Utopia. When I heard that I was mentioned in the list, it meant a lot to me because when I started, nobody recognized my work. And most of the time, people just thought that it was useless for, a child, specifically a girl, to be working on something that is climate change because people didn't really thought climate change was real back then. So, working in this field and being recognized for the work that I did was a really big deal for me. And I think when after this, by this recognition, I want to show the people out there that if you are determined towards your work, people will recognize you and, people will listen to you and, you will bring the change that you want to see in the world one day. I started working on climate crisis when I saw that child rights were being violated. Nobody cared about my rights. Nobody cared about if, people were living, if they were dead, there were floods happening, there were natural disasters happening, but nobody really cared about other people. They just cared about themselves and, how they could make more money. And I just saw older generation just, destroying my future for their pleasure and, not even recognizing that thing. And even if they knew about that, they didn't really care. So that was what made me think of that, I had to do something for myself. And that sort of is why I started taking action and I took my very first action. And I think pretty much the entire climate, this fight against climate crisis has been going on because of the youths. Because I don't really think that we have any other motive, in this fight rather than having a livable planet. It doesn't gives me it's not giving me a lot of money, it's not giving me profits or shares of a company or something. When I fight for my rights, or when I fight for climate justice, what I am fighting for is a planet where I can live in, where things are, where my surroundings are healthier and, where the environment is nicer. I think the most important thing that they have to keep in mind, the corporates and the governments, is how their actions are impacting the people on the grassroots level. Because in India, there is this huge population, those who live on the streets and those who are most impacted by climate crisis. So I believe thinking of how when they are taking action, how it is impacting the people on the grassroots levels, and how it is going to impact the country in a longer terms, rather than just thinking of, if we cut this forest and, build up a road, it's going to give us this much tourism and stuff like that, but rather thinking of how it is going to contribute to landslides if it's in the hilly area. So sort of, thinking of how their action plans are going to impact us in a longer term. And yeah, at the same time, it would be really great if government starts being transparent to the people and showing what they really are doing on the ground, rather than showing up false, or not so true reports that we see on the papers. I would really love to see if through my actions we would be able to create this space in India where when young people present their perspective, governments listen to those things, policymakers do, considers our opinions as important, and give us this say in decision making, give us this platform where we can be a part of decision making process. I think climate crisis impact the poor people the most, so I really want to give those poor people a platform where they could learn about climate crisis, where they could understand that yes, it is impacting them, and they would be able to share what they believe needs to change, what are their ideas, and at the same time them having this power of influencing how the decisions are being made in the country.